All right, so we are almost to tour. It is starting this Friday in Mansfield, Massachusetts. Now, predicting what they're going to do on each night can be very difficult, but looking over at the tour, maybe we can get an idea of what we're going to expect. The new album obviously coming out, but those songs have already sort of been embedded into the set list. They've already made it into the rotation, most of them. So perhaps a song or two maybe might get an extra spin or two. So I don't think we'd have to worry too much about, like, my concern always is when new songs make their way in, what old songs are going to find their way out. Like Cinema Mule, for example, Gula Papyrus, very rarely. A couple of songs that very rarely get played now as more and more new material has come in to the rotation over the last few years. The Casbah, the Chilling Thrilling are almost all but gone. Sci-Fi Soldiers may slowly start to fade away. Maybe songs like Beyond the Dream, Life Beyond a Dream, and Drift While You're Sleeping might finally take a back seat. We'll Split Open and Melt, which I feel like maybe in 2023 might have been the song of the year with all of this new material. A song like Split Open and Melt maybe was one of their best last year, if not the best. So Stash had an amazing year, so I'm hoping songs like that continue to stay. Prince Caspian, a bit of a surprise last year. Maybe the years before it was Plasma, like an older song that kind of gets treated like a new song, finds its way back into the rotation, gets a lot of heavy play. So, and then, Trey mentioned there were some things at the Sphere that they could take forward with them, leaving the Sphere, like they learned some new techniques. I'm curious if that's anything that we'll notice. Will that make just a regular show enhance the show even more? I would think so, perhaps. But, maybe it's something that we might not even notice, really. So we'll see there. And then, like I said, the new songs have already been embedded into the set list, so I don't think they can't play Evolve or Wave of Hope much more, can they? Ether Edge was another one that got a lot of play. Now Monsters, maybe a song like that didn't get a ton of play last year, will maybe get a time or two, maybe get a spin or two more. Now then my biggest fear is that songs don't leave the rotation, they just jam less. They play more songs with fewer long jams. Although it doesn't seem, coming off of Mexico, it does not seem like that is the case either. And the Sphere, obviously, coming off the Sphere, actually. But even before that, Mexico seemed like it had a monster every night. Not the song Monster, but you know what I'm saying. Um, and then songs that'll probably, hopefully, the soul stuff, slowly it's starting to work its way out as Wave of Hope becomes, has become more of a player. Evolve last year. I'm assuming that they will continue to be players over this full year for sure, at least. And then, maybe if we can get a year or two removed from like no new material, no Halloween material, no new albums, none of that, we can finally start to settle in around 2025, 2026. Like, what exactly is this band right now? All the new material, it has been kind of hard to pin them down exactly what is going on now. The jamming has even slightly shifted over the last few years. Less, build, peak, let's blow up, go on to the next one. More taking a different journey through different longer jams, which I like. One big thing on the wish list, though, is I wish they would refresh the covers a little bit. I don't think anybody would be upset, even, your most devout Canadians that love Loving Cup. I don't think they would even be upset if maybe it got replaced by I Am the Walrus, maybe even tag team a couple of Beatles songs that they play over the years to replace Loving Cup. No quarter. I know you're asking a lot, but maybe a time or two throughout the summer. I know that's a big investment just for a cover song that's trying to fill its role, but boy, that sure would be nice. And then I'd love to see the Chilling Thrilling stuff make a comeback, really. That would be on the wish list, pretty much all of it. Martian Monster, at the very least, just one show where Martian Monster kicks things off, either the first or the second set. That's something that would really be on my wish list. Hopefully, the encores continue to stay like, I know going back a couple of summers ago, the encores were definitely the weakest part of the shows, which that's fine. I'm not saying like I expect the encores to be better than the start of the second set or anything, but they were almost getting to the point where people were no longer calling me crazy for wanting to leave during encores. They were joining me. In fact, the last couple shows I went to, though, I stayed through the encore. A little different story when it's a hometown show, but enough of that. Let's not get into that right now. So I talked about, and Cinema Mule, more Mule. That's one of the best songs that has been missing for quite a while now. I believe going back all the way back to 2021, maybe, since the last Cinema Mule. So as all these new songs from the Sigma album and now this album evolve, that is one song that has sort of just seen its way out. Not that it was like in heavy rotation, although, when they came back in 2009, Cinema Mule sort of was one of the songs in the rotation. I feel Mercury, another really great song that is kind of maybe seen like a Pillow Jets will probably, like if Mercury was going to get a spot or two, Pillow Jets has probably gobbled that up. Same thing with like your beloved Pebbles and Marbles. Every time you hear Pillow Jets, just imagine this could have been Pebbles and Marbles. Although I will say the Pillow Jets has been growing. Um, my least favorite was when I was in the house at the Nutter Center somehow. It is rare that when you're like, I would say that, then my next favorite is probably their best live version at the Sphere. And then this studio version was actually my favorite Pillow Jets. So it's unusual when they can't quite take a song from the album and make it better live. It actually takes a step back when they go live. And then on Couch Tour, it was better than actually being in the house, if you could imagine. Sphere was pretty good, though. So we've talked about refreshing the covers, and I want Chilling Thrilling to come back. That's pretty much covering the wish list. I trust that they're going to play, the songs that we love. Antelope, we're probably due for an Antelope here. Maybe even, it seems like either David Bowie or Divided Sky, one or the other is going to have a big summer. Hood's always going to be there. YEM's always going to be there. Tweezers, Carinis. Simples, maybe a big wedge would be nice. I'd like to see some Birds of the Feathers, Limb by Limb. See, these are all songs that they mostly play, though, so it's hard to say. These aren't complaints, but obviously they always find a way. I know it seems like I do. Sometimes I wonder how do they manage to do this? Like just in the last 10 years, how many songs they have added to their arsenal that is just but it hasn't really affected much. Like I said, Sin of a Mule's a song, Gula Papyrus is another one, Mango Song, even some great songs that you just are rare these days. So some songs have, like if you go back and look at a set list from 93, 94, some of the big ones are almost completely gone, have vanished. Not totally, but for the most part they have kept everything sort of there. It's kind of impressive. Even if it's just once, even twice a year, they will sneak in something on you. Like My Friend, another great song from the past that I love. That still will get played. Um, and yeah, what will be this year? I think maybe I mentioned like what will be this year's Plasma or Prince Caspian. The last couple of years they surprised us a little bit. It's like they play it one night and they really like it, and it just kind of stays. I think there will be a song like that this year. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to speculate even what that would be, though. Maybe Blaze On and No Men in No Man's Land are finally going to start to calm down a little bit. Um, and as much as I want that Chilling Thrilling reboot, it's hard to find room for it. And then, yeah, I just start to argue with myself, as I know I've already covered, like possibly they'll jam less. That's not going to be the case. We're not going back to 2009. We're going to play 23 songs a night or anything, So I think that about covers it. Yes, we'll be getting the new songs, but hey, good news is we already were getting the new songs anyhow, so not a lot will change there. Um, but yeah, some of our beloved songs slowly are finding less and less stage time. But then the all-time greats, the ones that we really, really, truly want, for me anyhow. Although I could use an extra Piper or two per year, would be nice. And yeah, that's it. I guess the only one is Sin of a Mule, really. That's the one that I'd really like to hear more regularly, at least once a tour, a couple times a year maybe. That seems to be about the only one that is just out. So, all right, now I'm just repeating myself for like a third time. So that's a little bit of what we should expect. And then, as the shows get going, I'll be doing my picks each night. I was gonna do do it in like a sports gambling style video, your best bets, your parlays, your locks, things like this. All right, guys, boom, we are out of here. Mansfield, here they come. Here they come. Here they come. The Howling. That'll stick around, of course. That'll be the one song from the Halloween shows that ain't going anywhere. The Howling. They love it. There's only so many full moons per tour, though.